I didn't grow up with a lot of biological family in my life. It was my mom was a single parent. It was my older sister, my mom, my grandma, and the men in my family were not really present. So many other people were stigmatizing me and describing me in negative terms. It's real easy to start to kind of believe that. But my grandmother always saw the good in me. She always saw the light in me. The mentor who's had the most influence on me in this work is Nane Alejandrez, the founder and executive director of Blood News, came into my life. I took a group of youth to a conference. I saw Nane. He was sleeved up, all tatted. He looked like, he's creased out. He looked like an OG veterano from my neighborhood. All the things he was talking about were positive things. And that's what made me feel like I didn't have to be ashamed about my past, that I could actually draw on my life experiences and try to reach other younger people.
Today, if you go into a meeting of CURYJ, you're probably going to be greeted by some sage and opening prayer, in a circle of who we are. In the 80s and 90s, we were hit by mass incarceration. And a lot of the men left the community. And so you left a lot of youngsters, just running the street without no guidance.
Now, as somebody who's older, more mature, more reflective, what's a teaching that was shared with you? What's a false teaching about manhood that was shared with you?
A man should have women around him to do things for him. Your mom, your sister, they're all there to serve you.
Yes, subservience.
Yeah, and I think it's toxic, and I think sometimes that's even put upon us by women, and it's up to us, I think, to stop those cycles.
One teaching that I had when I was growing up was for sure men don't cry. I never had a male figure in my life, so to me seeing one cry wasn't as normal.
But at a young age, my dad said and he said it in different words. He said it like real effing men do cry, because that's how we show love. So I was getting two of the teachings, from two different mentors. My dad was always kept it real old school. Then you had some of these other peers that was teaching us you can't be no punk, or you can't be vulnerable, because if you do show that signs of crying, you're vulnerable, and people will see that.
I had the benefit and privilege of knowing a little bit about each of your own kind of personal stories of transformation and healing. I want you each to maybe take a moment to identify what you think has been the most instrumental thing in your own healing journey.
I think some things that have supported me in my healing would be talking to other people and acknowledging the fact that some of the things that I did were wrong. Some of the things that I was doing at the time weren't good for me, and that I needed to stop at some point.
Another big impact would probably be having brothers like you.
Thank you.
Brothers like you to come by and water all the history that I was told by my grandfather and by my dad, but to be that other older peer that's been there and I could relate to, that looked exactly like me, or looked like one of my older homies from my neighborhood, to be there and switch it up and just drop a whole bunch of knowledge on history, game, politics, and actually look at someone and be like, don't look at me as somebody that's just getting caught up by the police, but see somebody as a leader.
We see a young person, whether male or female, that's on that journey, is to give them those sacred items so that they can hold strong and continue that. Now, if they fall, we need to pick them up again. To hold that medicine is very sacred.
Growing up, I could say I had mentors, but they weren't positive mentors. They were all drug dealers or dope fiends, and I was blinded by certain lifestyles, so I didn't see that. So being able to see Mike, who still hasn't left the community, who still lives in the community, who still does work in the community, is powerful to me. To see George, who's been doing this work for numerous years and still not giving up when I know it's been hard. In the school system, there's male mentors or male teachers, and a lot of times they claim to been there, done that, when they really haven't. Or they're been there, done that, but they're still doing that, right? Mike was actually been there, done that, not doing that anymore, and everything he was telling us not to do or do, he was doing himself. tell us not to drink, he's not drinking himself. So that was powerful for me. Like, I'd never seen that. Icon is somebody very close in age with me, but I do feel I'm older than Icon, and I feel somewhat responsible for the things I do in front of him, the things I say, the way I like live my life.
Whatever happened in their past, they can deal with their trauma. We can take them to the sweat lodge. We can take them to a ceremony. We can take them to Alcatraz, sunrise ceremonies, whatever ceremonies are out there that help our spirits, we have contacts to now.
My family are Native, but to actually look into how they sat, how they looked out for family, and how is a family supposed to look like, and what's a warrior supposed to look like, what's a man supposed to look like. Finding all that out and understanding, like, why was I not taught that? Why was I not taught this in school? Once I did the sweat lodge once, it just kept on repeating, I'm there again, I'm there again. It was a road that I was never offered or anybody brought to my attention. So that was a big healing component, because I remember the first time I ever sweated, I just felt joyful. It's really positive. Mm-hmm. And I was with Joy, and I was with you, and I was with Ruben. And that's something that just sparked my mind out, like, this is very peaceful, and this is something that we should have been doing for years, like, you know, with other loved ones and family members.
You know, for me, a big part of my life is ceremony. It feeds my spirit, and I just can share, like, sometimes coming back from our Sundance ceremony, we stop right there at Pyramid Lake, and there'll be like a little group of us, you know, and you know, there's like inner circle, and we just go for a little swim right there. I love seeing people who I work with, that I care about too, connect and transform their lives too, you know what I mean? Like, I love seeing Mike's growth, I love seeing your growth, you know, and Icon, you know, is just kind of starting his journey, but like, that genuinely makes me happy. You know, in many ways, I see each and every one of us like a reflection of the growth and the development and the value of CURYJ. And I think the long-term vision is, how are we going to scale it up to touch more young people, so that we have many more Mikes, many more Daniels, many more Juans, you know, in Oakland, who are given the opportunity to tap into their innate leadership, their innate gifts and talents, find their voice and power, and find their sacred purpose.